Hey there, Legal Tea listeners. This is your host, Jenny Roselle. Today's episode of Legal Tea is a cautionary tale where we talk about real clients, real cases. They are things me or my office have actually worked on. On today's episode, we are going to talk about someone that I actually somewhat recently met with. It's a young family, young couple, husband and wife doing some estate planning. And the cautionary tale in their case really does not involve anything they specifically and personally did. Rather, it was the wife's family. So let's talk about what happened, then talk about what should have been done differently in this case. Alrighty, so I was meeting with this husband and wife. Let's name them Mike and Samantha. Now, Mike and Samantha are in their 30s. They're young, right? So, yeah, and kudos for them for starting the estate planning process and journey at their age. So, as part of our normal estate planning process, we always dive deep into someone's goals, of course, but also their assets, like the types of assets, how much those assets are valued or worth, the names on various assets, like who owns them, is it joint, is it in one person's name, etc. And side note, this should absolutely be part of every estate planning conversation with an attorney. So you should expect to get this deep. Estate planning is not just about documents. It is about getting your assets, however much or as little as you have in assets, to support those documents. So anyway, while I was deep diving into Mike and Samantha's assets, Samantha shared that she had a, quote, trust account that had $300,000 in it. And it was, quote, some trust that she got when she was younger when her parents died. That, of course, piqued my interest. And I remember in that first meeting with Mike and Samantha asking them if they had a copy of the trust document because I wanted to see sort of what I was working with here. Does it offer any asset protection? Does it have contingent beneficiaries listed? When does it end? Does it end anytime soon? Can we do anything with it? Can we change it? And lucky for me, Samantha was like, oh yeah, I definitely have a copy of the trust. And before we moved on from that conversation in their meeting, Samantha made the comment, I specifically remember this, and she said, yeah, and if there's anything we can do about it, Jenny, it's kind of annoying because the bank will only talk to my brother about my trust. And as soon as she said that, I knew right then and there that meant her brother was the trustee and she was not. I didn't say anything in that moment, but I just knew it had to be the case. So fast forward some time, Samantha forwarded me a copy of the trust by email. I printed it out because I'm old school like that and I need paper in front of me to read and mark up. Anyway, so I start reading it and I basically learned two major things in my review. First, that yes, her brother is definitely the trustee. But even then, there was a mistake that was made. The trustee named Samantha's brother and their aunt as the co-trustees. And if either Samantha's brother or the aunt passed away, then another one of their aunts was supposed to move up and serve as the co-trustee. Well, the original aunt named did pass away, but yet the brother continued to serve, but as just sole trustee. So right then and there, they directly violated the trust, right there. And second, the second major thing I noticed in my review was another massive mistake. And it was that the trust specifically stated that it was supposed to be terminated and liquidated upon Samantha turning 30. So the trustee, once Samantha hit 30, was supposed to close her up and hand over full control of the money to Samantha. That did not happen. Samantha's almost 35 now. So again, the trustee directly violated the trust right there too. I think it's super important to note here that the brother, Samantha's brother, did not do anything like maliciously or, anything like that. He just straight up got thrust into this role and did not really know what he was supposed to do. Though you can imagine some family setups, some families out there, that this could have made things go south really quickly. That's because trustees are held to a very high fiduciary duty that if they slip up, they can be sued. Thankfully here, Samantha and her brother have like a really great relationship and friendship. So when I told Samantha this, that, what should have happened, she totally laughed and was like, oh my gosh, my brother's going to be so excited to get off this thing. Now, this story really reminds me of a conversation I have with clients all the time, that I really firmly believe that sometimes people truly do not put enough time and consideration in who they put into various estate planning roles. I'm sure when Samantha's parents did their original estate plan, they thought him serving, Samantha's brother serving in that role would be fine and dandy. And honestly, things did turn out fine and dandy, right? But like I said, you can imagine a situation where things could take a really, really bad turn, all because of the people and relationships involved. We all know that when money is on the table, people sometimes turn into different people. So on this topic, I really wanted to take some time and talk about maybe some factors or things to consider when picking who you want to serve in various roles in estate planning. And these are just some of the factors to consider, not all. So first is skill set. Is the person that you're thinking about, are they organized? Are they efficient? Are they communicative? These are such vital skills to have when serving in any estate planning role. And maybe another skill set would be, do they have like a natural or even trained ability to understand, healthcare decisions and financial affairs and business affairs. Now, another factor is location. Sure, some things are a tad easier to do if the person is local, but that's not the only factor to consider. Putting someone in these important roles just because they're the local person is not the best idea, I promise. They really need to be able to fill some more of these factors that I'm talking about, not just this one. So not to mention with, technology and electronic signing, things are easier than ever to do remotely. So being in person and local is certainly not the only thing to consider when picking someone in these roles. Another factor is relationships and the relationships involved. And the question that comes to mind is, does that help or does that hurt things? And what do I mean by this? Well, I know that we all like to think everyone is going to get along all the time and sit around and kumbaya. Well, let me break it down for you. I've been doing this for 12 years now. So I've been doing this long enough to have many clients tell me, they will look straight at me and say, oh, my kids will never fight when I'm gone. They know I'll haunt them. And they'll say that and they'll laugh. And guess what, my friends? Those same kids fight like there's no tomorrow. So call me cynical, but the picture-perfect family rarely exists anymore. So you have to truly, without bias, look at the relationships of everyone involved and make sure that you are setting up things in a smart way. Now, another factor is job. What is their job? What I mean by this is their job so demanding that they may, kind of slack in their estate planning role? Or are they unemployed and looking to maybe capitalize on the estate? And I say that seriously. I have seen that happen before too. Another thing under this job factor is like when I said earlier about like a trained ability, Perhaps you have a close family member, a child, a dear friend, whatever, that would naturally do well in these types of estate planning roles due to their profession. So do you have a child that's a nurse or in the medical profession? Perhaps they are a wonderful fit for your healthcare decision maker. Or do you have someone near and dear that's an attorney or a CPA or maybe in finance? Perhaps they are a good fit for roles like power of attorney, executor, and or trustee. Now, a final factor that I want to throw out there is family dynamic. And just a couple examples of what I mean when I say family dynamic is like a blended family. Or maybe another example is maybe your kids cannot stand each other. Regardless, what I'll say on this topic is just really talk through family dynamics with your estate planning attorney. Trust me, we have seen many, many situations and many, many family setups just like yours. And I promise that someone like me can help come up with options. And one of those options may be to put some sort of third party in some various estate planning roles, which may include like a professional or a bank. And like I said, these are just some of the factors to consider when picking who is going to serve in various estate planning roles. Hear me loud and hear me very clear. It does not have to be the oldest child or even a child at all. I know it is very natural to look inward, like towards your family, towards your children first. But at the end of the day, you truly need to look at those people as unbiased as possible and ask yourself, can this person truly serve in this role well, while running through some of these factors that I just mentioned? Now, all my cautionary tales here on Legal Tea, like when I do cautionary tale episodes here, sometimes, as you know, they don't end with a happily ever after, but this one does. Samantha ended up talking to her brother, and like she expected, and like I hinted at earlier, he was very eager and very excited to move on and get this whole, Samantha's trust thing out of, just out of his hair. So as we speak, I have them working on getting the trust wrapped up and liquidated and all the money to Samantha. So ultimately that $300,000 that's in this trust account can just be included in her personal investments. So hey, we've got ourselves a happily ever after, my friends. So let's end on that good note, shall we? Let's wrap up this episode. As you know, Legal Tea episodes always drop on Tuesdays. And next Tuesday falls on the day after Christmas. So I'm going to take the week off. So there will not be a Legal Tea episode on December 26th. But I will be back in your ears the next Tuesday, which will be January 2nd, 2024. Holy moly, that's crazy to say. When I'm back on January 2nd, we will be back to the current events, current trends topic. So something I've seen or run across, maybe just a timely or relevant topic that I think would be interesting to talk about on here. I have not decided yet what I'm going to chat about on that episode. My brain is totally focused on the holidays, and my husband's birthday is actually on Christmas. So a little fun thing, I'm recording this episode on December 10th, and this will be released on December 19th, so there will be a little bit of a delay between recording and publication. So I'm throwing him, he's turning 40 this year, which is a big one, right? It's a really big one. So I'm throwing him a surprise birthday party. But between the holidays and me frantically shopping for it, and let's be real, when I say shopping, I'm really just Amazon priming. So between the holidays and last minute details for my husband's party, I'm just a little busy. So that's why I haven't given even 2 seconds to think about what we're going to talk about on the current trends episode on January 2nd. So I have some ideas. I just need to narrow it down. But anyway, have an awesome, safe, and fun holiday. and I will talk to you guys in 2024. Be well and talk soon.